Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm a dumb dad.
Hey there, my name's Evan. I'm a dumb dad.
Cheers.
Cheers, dummy. So excited to talk to you today.
Excited to talk to you as well. Do you have something exciting for me? How was your week?
Week was good. We have started new adventures with the children. We are doing we're entering a little bit into the sports world now.
You are. That's right. I did know this.
But hold on. What I wanted to talk to you about.
I didn't want to talk about it.
We're going to get into it.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm a dumb dad.
Hey,
we're starting over.
My name's Evan. I'm a dumb dad. Before we turned on our stuff and we were setting up, we had a collective dumb dad moment. And
Correct.
That was that. This is so embarrassing. Which is that we use this cool little Zoom handy recorder here to record our podcast with, and we've used it for a couple of years now.
We've used it throughout almost all the podcasts.
Yeah, and it's a beast. It does such a good job for us.
If you're starting out a podcast, a Zoom is a great device for starting out.
And
not a sponsor.
We were like, okay, so we need a new memory card. We had a couple of memory card issues. We plug it in the computer and it's like not reading it. It was like, memory cards are cheap enough now. We should just go get a new one. I don't want to mess around with.
Yeah.
I want to mess around with something that's getting weird on me.
Well, because one of the teeth were broken.
One of the teeth.
Are they called teeth?
Sure. They look like little golden
little teeth on the bottom of the big memory card.
And we were like, let's just get a new memory card. And so I think we bought two memory cards because we were like, you know what? Listen, it's a good deal, 2 for 1.
But also, you don't want to have like our problem is that we had this memory card that was iffy, and our whole podcast is on there.
And it's the only one we have for that.
And you and I are not professional enough that if the podcast was just like wiped, we'd go, all right, let's record tonight. We'll do another one. No, we just skip the week.
Yeah, we just skip the week.
So,
well, what a bummer.
So, with that in mind, it's like, all right, we'll have a backup.
Memory card
ready.
So we plug the memory card in. It's like error, format card. Okay, we go to format the card and it's like error.
There is no card.
There is no card. There was no SD card. And we're like, what is happening? So we go back to the old trusty one that worked until we figured out. So then you got another one because those other two didn't work. We couldn't figure out what was going on. It was like, what are the odds? We're 0 for 2 on these memory cards. We get a new memory card in today. We plug it in before we do the podcast. Same thing.
Same thing.
No SD card. What do you mean no SD card? Format the SD card. Go to format there's no SD card. It's in the thing. Quick little Google research and it's like just a little bit of research. Just going online and looking.
Really took us no time at all.
Almost none.
To find the problem.
I think we were having a conversation. I was doing it on the side.
Yeah. You were.
Lo and behold, you can't put huge memory cards in here. 32 gigs is all you get. So there's a hot tip out there for you. You only get 32 gigabytes. Anything over that, it's like...
Because you'll never need more than that for audio only.
Anything over that, the handy recorder is like, well, no. How about this? How about it's not even in here? How about that? Go get the one that fits. You don't get a podcast today.
So
it took us how many memory cards and dummies does it take to figure out?
So write in your dumb dad moments. Top responder gets an opened memory card. Top 3.
It is one of those things though. Like I feel these moments are probably going to sneak up on you where you feel old or you feel more like a dad than you ever had before. Where we're laughing about the fact that you bought too big of a memory card, too much space, 128 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, 1,200 gigabytes. Like the where memory cards came from, and what's going on with memory cards happened really quickly. Mm-hmm. That a micro SD card, which is like your pinky fingernail, is like a terabyte, 10,000, whatever, how many, 1,000 gigabytes of stuff on there. It starts to make my mind like melt a little bit. Why do they even exist? Why
that
don't
it
they
can
just
all
go
be
on nothing?
Compressed and coded.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which starts to make me think, so nanotechnology really can exist.
No. No.
But that's what's going on here.
No, we're not going to get into Marvel movies, of which I'm a big fan.
I thought I could get you.
But when the suits start coming out of like a watch and covers their whole body.
That's the thing that's never.
That's when I check out.
That's the thing that's never like gotten past me. That's my dad is like that when it's like if something movie is stupid and he's like he won't even watch it. He's like, see ya. I remember when we were kids watching Goldeneye and we had it on as like a family movie, and he goes off the cliff on the motorcycle and he goes, if he goes off the cliff in the motorcycle, catches up to the plane and gets in the plane and flies away from safety, I'm going to bed. And sure enough,
that's a real stunt.
I know. Doesn't matter. He was like, see ya.
It's a real stunt. I mean, he didn't fly the plane. There was a pilot in there.
It's still so funny to me. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. That's where we're headed. But that's what I think. I think about.
We're headed in the direction of being the dad who just goes to bed.
I think so because what you're saying is like
I'll watch a trash movie. But all day, every day.
I've had that thought, like the nanotechnology thing, whatever.
Star-Lord
does it. Touches the thing on the side of his ear, and like his whole entire helmet shows up out of nowhere. Like, and it's digital. He can talk to it. I'm like, no.
Yeah. And it's funny that it took us to the Guardians of the Galaxy to get mad about something where the Hulk exists, but his pants stay on. But we're pissed about.
We're pissed about
an earring mask.
If only though, right?
An earring helmet.
Sunglasses? Could they do that? Anyway, let's jump into it.
We've wasted everyone's time.
Yeah, my kids are getting into. Well, I was getting into sports. My son had soccer evaluations this weekend.
Soccer evaluations at 8.
Yes. It's not what you think it is. Of course I was making the jokes like, how many agents are here? It's a park.
Who'd you make that joke to?
No, just kind of myself. And one other lady. She laughed.
You said, how many agents are here? Looks left, right. Kind of like doing that thing where your tongue is touching like your top lip.
Yes.
How many agents are here?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going. I'm see ya, and then wait in the car.
Like in LA, they can't tell if you're making a sports joke or like you're an actor dad who's going to see if there's any agents.
Yeah, there's a mom who's an agent who's just sweating.
Please don't have a business card. Please don't have a business card.
Don't show me a headshot with you as a plumber and a doctor.
It's through Parks and Rec department. So evaluations because they want to have all the kids show up that want to play soccer. Then they have you do like a dribbling skill. Yeah. And then a little race back and forth. And then like a tiny little scrimmage. And they just take notes on the kids to try to make the teams as evenly, as fair as possible.
Sure.
By giving the kids. But man, let me tell you something. One day, I've been doing it for one day. I went to evaluations. Okay. There's no team.
Uh-huh.
We don't have who's coach. They asked, it was just day one. And it's like the parents were just chirping and getting involved.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. Like out of a TV show.
So the evaluation isn't necessarily like, oh, okay, I don't know what you'd name it, but like this is A squad, B squad, C squad. It's like a little bit, okay, you're good, you're not so good, you're terrible, you're on the same team.
They probably rate it like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
1, this is their first day.
Right. So
2 looks like
this is their second day.
They have done something before. 3 looks like that kid practices in his yard all the time.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 4 3s total out of 75 kids or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everyone's a 2. And then there's like 21s or whatever. So you put each team gets a 3. There's a bunch of 2s. That's my guess. So like, so there's not one team that's just smoking everybody.
Be fun. One of those parents wants that.
One of those parents wants that. So anyway, the funny thing is like the first thing they even do is like line up in 2 lines. So they line up. These are like 7, 8, 9-year-olds. Line up in 2 lines. So they line up in 2 lines. And then it's like, okay, what we're going to do. And of course, all the kids are talking to each other. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of this is like, isn't this what we're all here for? This is hilarious.
Yeah, it's the best.
How poorly this is going. So the kids are all in 2 lines. You're just going to race the other kid down the yellow line. There's literally a yellow line down the middle of the field at their feet. Just run down the yellow line to this red cone. There's a blue one and a red one. Pass the blue one fast as you can all the way through the red cone. Do we touch the red cone? No, you don't. No. When I blow the whistle, and here it starts. And then the guy only gets through halfway the second explanation before like a couple dads are going up to their kids. Okay, so look, it's like they're involved now. And it's like, dude, this whole thing is going so chaotic. And it's the first explanation of the first day's activity. It was like, this is amazing.
We've talked.
This is amazing. The funny thing to me was like, all these parents, no, yelling from the sidelines or going over, telling their kids specifically, wandering over. Like, I mean, there's like parents all over the place now with opinions everywhere about how to do this, how to run in a straight line, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of it, they're like, again, it's Parks and Rec. We're going to have some fun here. But it's like, hey, we need coaches. And like, no one says anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you say anything? Is that the end of the story?
No, I didn't say anything because I was like, I don't have to decide today, but I really would like to do it. But I'm worried about how much time it'll take.
It'll be pretty time consuming.
It's like one practice a week and one game a week once you get into it. And then doesn't seem like a lot, but
then preparation.
Like, I know.
You're going to want to set
drills.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't dedicate any time to children. Don't do that.
You heard it here first. So my dumb dad moment is not going, so I signed up and I'm right. I'm actually a coach of 2 teams.
Yeah. I'm the commissioner.
But man, it was so funny. Like there was no like frustration, but it was more like how many parents could be talking right now at one time?
It's funny and dumb because it's evaluations. Yeah. So why are you getting so worked up? Because your kid's gonna, no matter what you have him do, gonna end up on a team. And if he underperforms at evaluations and he's better, boy, it's going to be great when he's with that other 3 later in the season and they're just tearing it up.
That's right.
Be smart about it.
If you're going to get stage fright, do it now.
Have him throw the first fight. Okay. Yeah.
So explain to me how you got a red card.
Yeah.
Soccer evaluations.
Through the cone.
At the coach. I just loved every second of it. I mean, it was just so funny to me. It was like I could have just written it all. Like I knew it was going to happen. As soon as the one dad jumped out and was like, what he means is, and it's like, oh, come on, man.
You're a pretty competitive person. I think I'm as competitive as the average person. I'm not overly competitive. I don't enjoy. Like if I was playing a video game with you, I'd rather play it cooperative. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not I just don't. I don't like that kind of much of competition. So I feel like I'm on the right path in terms of where my children are doing like things like soccer.
Yeah.
My daughter did when she was so young. Nobody cared because it was like 3 and it was just funny them bumping into each other. But like, yeah, when my daughter was taking tumbling classes, when my son was taking tumbling classes, all we're doing is just like laughing through the whole thing, that they're not listening, that they're running away. If I can help the teacher, I'll help the teacher. I'm not going to like allow chaos.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, my daughter's taking dance and gymnastics right now, and I'm not in the room, so it's just her and the teacher. And now it's just awesome to watch her actually doing the things and excited to do the things.
Yeah.
I think I showed you a video of my daughter, like class had ended. And they finished on, I'm looking through the glass where I can see all this stuff. And like class had finished and they're like, all right, we're all done. Let's leave. And it was like the other side of the room. So they all start running back to the other side of the room to get like their water bottles and their bags and stuff.
Yeah.
And my daughter like hangs back to do like a front flip, which she cannot do. But she like ran with them and then was like, well, hold on. Like, cause it's like a gymnastics floor that like, bouncy spring. What is under there?
Springs.
It's just springs?
I believe so.
What's the floor made of? Is it? Because it doesn't look fun to land on, but it's kind of like, it's like.
Have you ever stood on one of those floors before?
No.
I've gone to it's like my friend used to work in a gym like that. So like foam pit stuff.
Yeah.
And then like one time we got to go there. I think we went at like midnight or something. There's probably like 8 of us in there.
How many like round-offs did you do?
I mean, you can only do so many before your arms get tired.
We run out of space.
But the floor is wild. I mean, it's like, it's just springy enough to where if you take off on a jump, it's like another 30% of what you can do.
Oh, that's fun.
So it just feels like, whoa, it's like, not trampoline-ish because it's more of like a rapid feedback as opposed to like a low spring.
Yeah.
But it's cool. You feel like you can run faster on it for sure, all of it.
So my daughter did that. She hung back and she was like, well, class is over, so let me get a couple more flips in here.
That's great.
And that still entertains me. That's like the next level for her of not listening to the teacher at all, which is hilarious. Always funny.
Yeah.
Now it's like she's listening to the teacher and actually wants to get extra reps in. So it's kind of not listening to the teacher where the teacher's like, we're all done. Go get your stuff. And she's like,
Yeah.
but I'm walking that way anyway. And it's just fun. It's fun
Might
to
as well
watch.
tumble my way over there.
It's fun how it's like naturally progressing into like, oh, this is fun. But I've never once been like screaming at. Well, it'd be weird if I was screaming in their ballet
It'd be
class.
really weird, yeah. You call that a plie?
Yeah. Do a full split or you're walking home.
There were girls there, co-ed league, that were just warming up doing the splits in the sideline. It was like, oh my God. Adult or child, it was just like, never. And that could never.
Yeah, I know. Not even close.
Not even, the idea is not even there,
Oh,
if that makes sense.
yeah.
Before I physically would even
You never
dream of training. I mean,
you never thought about it, like tried to go for it and then just gave up after a little while?
Well, if you're not a flexible person in that sense, like I'm not, it only takes a couple of times falling that way where if allotted, your body would have done it. But the tightness stopped you, and then you have a real problem for about 3 weeks.
My daughter's going for a split. My wife and I, who are both, I mean, I think we can't really get our legs past a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, right there with you, brother.
We're living we're living healthily, vicariously through our daughter.
I like the
We're
disclaimer.
not screaming for it, but we're like,
Right.
when she's like practicing splits at home, we're like,
Right.
do it for us. This is all we need. We don't need you to get this trophy that everyone's screaming at their kids about.
Maybe when I was 10 or something, but after probably 15, I've never been able to touch I can't bend over and touch my toes. Not even close. I'm like 6 inches away.
Now?
Yes.
You can't touch your toes now?
Cannot. Not even close.
Let me see.
You want me to stand up and do it right now? I'll do it.
All right. Evan's standing up. I can see it.
Breathe slowly into it.
Okay.
Okay, my legs are locked, but I mean,
Legs are locked.
the back of my knees are already on fire right now.
Okay.
On fire.
I mean, I'll say 4 inches. I mean, you're close, bud.
I said 6.
You said 6. Yeah, you got to believe in yourself. And you got to stretch.
I've gone through periods of like trying every day and like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I gained an inch, but it's not like worth a year investment. I don't really care about my toes that much. I'll bend over and
Here's the thing. My daughter is, and your son is, doing soccer so that like maybe, who knows?
yeah.
The whole point of putting your kids in any athletic endeavor is for them to have fun and an experience. That's all it's for.
And become a professional and take care
They
of you for
might
life.
become professionals or even great at it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's great. But like, that's why they're working for it. That's why my daughter is practicing splits, whereas we are doing it so that 50 doesn't suck. Every athletic window is closed to us.
Yeah. Except for golf. The window remains open for a long time, but it's the only window in your house.
I can never find the handle to that door.
You're right in saying that I'm a competitive person. I love like being in competition,
Uh-huh.
knowing like I never played at a high level of anything, but sort of it's still in your as a kid in your brain, like you're playing at a high level because that's what you are doing with your, if you're going to win or lose or whatever, like it feels like at a high level, you know what I mean? So to experience that, do you work and go to practice and play with your friends and it's all fun, but you really want to win and you either win or you don't win. Like that's the drive of like trying to get there, but knowing what it takes to like lose something
Yeah.
or win something. I love that. 8 is not the time to focus on that.
No.
And, that wasn't like how I experienced sports as a kid. I came away from playing sports as a kid as being madly in love with like the camaraderie that you got by playing a sport with like a bunch of friends.
See, I never had that.
But you can get that in other ways too, not only just sports, but that's where I got that from. I mean, you could get the same thing going to a theater camp and all of you work. Not that you went to theater
I
camp.
didn't go to theater.
I know. I'm
I
just trying to think
would've.
of the opposite of sports.
I
would be
would
like
have.
something like theater camp. But you get the same, maybe not competitiveness, but the same like the thing I'm talking about that I really truly remembered from playing sports as a kid. It was like we all worked at something together and did something together, and like that is what I want them to experience.
I had a kid in baseball.
You mean theater camp?
Yeah. We had this kid in baseball. He was playing Mercutio. I was Tybalt. Anyway, he was up to bat.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with those positions.
He grabbed his rapier. I'm sorry, his baseball bat. And he said, "Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?" I never had that. No, I had a kid in baseball, T-ball, made fun of how bad I was, that I cried all the way home and I never played baseball again. That's a true story. On my own team. He made fun of me in front of everybody, and they all laughed real hard, and then I cried the whole way home. And I said, I'm never playing this sport again. I don't know if that, yeah.
So let's see. What else? What else?
Never
Other sore subjects for Kevin we can explore.
I just never had the camaraderie. I never had that. So, yeah, I guess never really took to sports. Anyway, living vicariously through your kids. Off of that,
back to doing the splits.
No, my daughter had a birthday party this weekend at the old Skyzone.
Hey, speaking of blowing up Knee Central,
it's if people don't know, it is an indoor trampoline park. I mean, it's just trampolines everywhere and
no floors, just
trampolines, and then rope swings and obstacle courses, foam pits.
They do have like a zip line situation there, something, right?
Yeah, the zip line.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that place is pretty money.
It was pretty great. So we went there, and listen, if you're a parent and you got a kid, like my daughter's in first grade, your kid's in first grade, and you have the funds to swing it, for the sake of parents like me, host it at Skyzone, because here was great about it. We get there, I see the mom, I'm like, hey, thanks for having us, and she's like, sure thing. My daughter's already inside running around somewhere, and I was like, cool. And she's like, check in here, and then, go have fun. And I was like, great, thank you. And it was, great, because we signed in, and then I never talked to another parent again. It was wonderful.
Were you jumping the whole time?
No, I didn't, because I don't know if I was allowed to. Like, they didn't say if I was included in the thing. Like, none of the other parents were. But here's the thing.
Were you itching to?
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I don't think I was supposed to, because they gave my daughter a wristband that was like purple. And then they gave me a red one, but they put it on me inside out. So the white side was facing out. Nobody said anything, but it seemed implied you're just watching your kid.
You don't get to go into the beer garden. You just get to look at it from the outside.
So they gave me a pair of socks for my daughter. But she was so excited to go to Skyzone. So she wore her Skyzone socks. And I was like, do you want to put these socks on? They need a new pair. And she was like,
they give it to you every time.
She's like, no, I have socks. I was like offended at the idea. So then
I've been saving these sweaty socks that I got last time I was here, just in case one time, maybe in my life, I might get to.
I haven't washed them, and they've held the exact shape. They fit like Cinderella's glass shoe.
After 10 minutes, the crunchiness goes away.
And they're like those smiley face sponges. Hard when they're dry. You get them wet, and they're just real soft.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
So she's like, no, I don't want those. I have my own socks. And then we get in there. We put our shoes away. We get in there. And she takes her like scrunchy hairband out because it's bothering her. And she's like, can you hold this? And I was like, yeah. So I put it on my wrist over my white band and put on her socks. Her new socks that she doesn't want. And I jumped around a little bit. Not too much, though, because there was a lot of...
sneaky guy.
There was a lot of kids, so I only jumped here. Like at one point, they were like, "You guys get to go to the dodgeball arena, just the birthday party."
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
"Now we're talking."
Right, now I'm going to play, because now it's like I don't worry about me jumping and not seeing the 3-year-old who just stepped on and launching that kid.
Yeah, if you can dodge a wrench,
yeah,
you can dodge a ball.
So that was fun, but it was just really fun. And I had a moment where I was like, I don't know if if my daughter has my ADD or not, or if it's just, again, like, it's so hard when people are like, do you think your daughter has ADD? And I was like, I don't know. She's 6. Every 6-year-old is a scatterbrain for the most part. So I don't know if she has ADD, but if she does, and I assume she got it from me, there was a nice moment where I was like, I love it. Because, when you're ADD, you have trouble focusing or you're hyper focused. It's like kind of one or the other, or it's kind of the same thing. You're not paying attention because you're thinking about something else. Anyway, she was playing with me, and then I see the birthday girl, and I say to my daughter, I was like, hey, why don't you go say hi to her? And she was like, oh, okay. Like, didn't see her. And was like, yeah. And then I ran over, started talking to her. Well, my daughter was the only girl invited from school.
Okay, so everybody else is from
softball. They're all they're all on a softball team.
Okay.
She goes over to the birthday girl, and they're talking, and then the birthday girl sees some friends from softball, and just kind of like runs away towards them. My daughter follows them. The birthday girl, and there's no judgment. Now she's 7. Happy birthday. But she's being a kid who's just so excited. This day is about her, and she's in this magical place. She goes and she finds her other friends, grabs their hands, and runs away, like ditches my daughter. Mm-hmm. And you have that moment as a parent where you're like, oh no, this might become a thing. Oh. And my daughter just watches her walk away. I'm just staring at the back of my daughter's head. Like, all right, get ready to...
You don't know what's coming around
I don't know what the other face is on the other side of that head right now. And daughter turns around, looks at me, like kind of confused, makes eye contact with me and goes, and then just starts doing flips again on the trampoline. And I was like,
perfect.
Love it. I love it.
Because I thought that might have been a core memory.
That might have been a core memory.
Or could have been.
But I'm wondering if, like me, with being happy that I have to watch my daughter. Sorry, I got to watch my daughter. I'd love to talk more about, what was it?
The weather. We were having a conversation about the weather. I've had it with every parent here.
Yeah, it is raining. But I got to watch my daughter. So, like, my daughter had that with, like, trampoline jumping. She was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to
go back to jumping.
Thank God I don't have to do whatever that was.
I remember going a long time. I think the only time I've ever been there, maybe I've been there twice. We've been together.
Was it for your son's birthday? Was it Skyzone that we went to?
Yeah, when he was like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing, which we jumped all over the place. But that place is like, you're afraid of what you could see. Like, I don't really like watching parents jump. Because I'm pretty certain you're just going to see...
That's a big reason why I didn't jump a lot.
You're a person, and then you're an ostrich, because both your knees are backwards. I'm afraid I'm going to see it happen.
But that's what I'm saying. That was a big reason why I honestly didn't really jump, except at like the dodgeball area. Because like I saw 2 or 3 dads that I was watching going, you guys are getting carried away. Like they're jumping, and they're pumped. And they're like jumping with as much as they can. And I'm like, I'm going
to pass out sitting here.
Because there are toddlers walking around. And toddlers don't go, let me wait my turn.
No.
Toddlers are always
Toddlers are LA drivers.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here.
I'm the only one here. I'm taking this lane. And that kid, like... You just see the Raggedy Ann doll fly in the air, starfishing across the sky.
Right into the foam pit.
Like I was grateful for that. Like I walked in and I was like, I should put my socks on and I should jump around. And then I saw like one dad just like, woohoo! Just like jumping.
Oh, I don't want to be that guy.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, just get the sensation. That's what we're gonna do. We're going to go for the sensation.
We're going to do a couple hops, and then I'm going to go, I don't like it.
Okay, so I have my dumb dad moment of the week.
Okay.
Kind of a simple one, but it's still a stupid one, and I think we've probably all done this. We posted about this in our last podcast. Part of half the jokes were based on real life that we went to IKEA. Uh-huh. And we really did go with the intention of getting one thing. I feel like I used to live in Washington. We were like at least an hour from an IKEA, which I think for a lot of people, it's a huge trip. We're pretty lucky here. It's over in Burbank. It's like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
25 minutes. Not too bad. which makes it more feasible to go, let's go get like this, it was like this sort of like desktop height. My wife and our desks are next to each other, but there was a space in between. They were like, if we get the rolling carts that are that style, then it would be like a flush top. Before it was like this little shelf in between. Anyway, so you're like, let's go, saddle up. Everyone's going to IKEA. And, but then you're at IKEA and you're walking around going, man, they do such a good job with small space. That's where our situation is right now. Is there anything inspiring here? Is there anything inspiring there? So my dumb dad moment is like going through, looking at like, they have these really cool like pegboard organizers, but it's not just traditional pegboard. It's got kind of style to it, which is what I think is cool about IKEA. Yeah. There's a little bit of style to it, which I was like, that's cool. I think I might like to have something like that in where my desk is, so I can organize my stuff better. I don't feel like I'm utilizing the space well enough.
Yeah.
I bet I could use that and hang some stuff, hang mic cables and headphones and stuff, that kind of thing. So then spend 15, 20 minutes with my wife, like, okay, these two sizes look good. We should get this one. I can hang this there. We're like kind of going through, like, if I bought the S hook, I could hang this, that, like you're doing the whole planning thing out. Then you feel good about it. And like, all right, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Cool, got it. So that was about a week and a half ago. And it's all in a bag on the floor by my desk.
Oh.
Because it's like, what we're doing in the early part of the year. Spring cleaning's coming, getting motivated. We want to change things. We could do better here. We're eventually trying to find a house, but right now we're like working with small space. So how can we utilize that better? That's what the mode is. And so it's easy to get excited when you're there.
Yeah.
And then here we are, like a week and a half later, going, dude. And I still like, it's not like it's not going to happen. But the dumb dad moment is like, I'm at IKEA thinking like, in 3 hours from now, it'll be great and it'll be done. Like, no, they were annoyed that we were there at IKEA for so long. They were hungry when we got home. It was late that afternoon. We had plans to do something. So, okay, let's quickly get some of your homework done. And then before you know it, it's like, oh, I'm tired. It's bedtime. I'm going to bed.
And that's fine.
And the next day happens. And then you don't think about it. And then here we are. I'm admitting to you that, like,
still in the bag.
I don't know. Be realistic about it, probably. It's wrapped, too. Plastic on it. I did a good job that day we came home. I put the shelves together in between the desks.
Shelves have to be put together.
I know, those
don't usually stay out.
The reason why we went there got put up that day. Done. Like, looked great. Worked great. Broke down the cardboard the same day.
Well done.
Maybe the next day. But it was done. But here I sit with like my grandiose plan of like being better organized, and I made more of a mess, really. Stuff to step around.
What's gonna be a nice little, double-sided dumb dad moment for you is whenever you get to it. And hey, no rush. We're all rooting against you here at the Dumb Dad Podcast.
Let's keep this train going.
But yeah, how long is this hot streak going to go for? Let's find out.
Right.
When you do it, you're going to be so annoyed at yourself that you didn't do it sooner, that it was easier than you thought to get together. Yep. And then once you do it, your life is going to be easier. Like it's going to be more organized.
You're trolling me so hard right now.
And you're going to be so mad at yourself. You're going to be so mad you didn't do it.
I know.
And there's nothing you can do about it now. That's a week and a half. You're almost there where you're going to be mad at yourself. I feel like right now it's still kind of just like, oh, geez.
Oh, maybe like
you're at, oh, geez. I should have done this that same day. Next morning.
Too, right?
Should have done this while I was having my coffee and just sitting there for a half hour. But you didn't.
No, but the idea still exists.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of it. I posted on Instagram stories the other day. I was like, I don't like it. I have a Cricut that I use, vinyl cutter, which I love. And that's there. It's part of the in between the desk thing. And but all the rolls are on the wall. Didn't know where to put them. We found this thing at like the craft store last time. Like, oh, this holds rolls. This is kind of cool. But then I put them up and it's like, I don't use it enough to where those are like I need to have them as like
readily available. Like you're
like I had extra clips in my pockets.
You're a food truck, just like hanging your head out, going, "What do you need? Hold on!" and pulling the rolls out. And laying
we got permanent yellow.
Yeah, permanent yellow.
We got temp yellow too. What do you need? So part of that was like trying to. What do you guys do? How do you organize it? Had some great tips, good responses, but still, not quite enough to make me tear it all down and start. Stupid, dumb dad moment.
Stupid, dumb jerk.
Dumb dad moment.
Dumb dad moment.
Yep.
I had a different one. And not only, I mean, I could have asked my wife about it, but I decided not to because I had a better one that happened today. I don't usually have same day.
I like when they're raw like that.
I know.
Like you haven't maybe even been ready to emotionally explore how dumb it is what you did. So we can do that now.
Oh, I'm very aware.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good.
Well aware. So, should I give the triggering factor?
Well, don't tease us. Come on, out with it.
Just wondering, what's the best way to tell this story? Yeah, I'll just get into it and then we'll backtrack.
Sure.
So my wife was doing the thing that you guys have been kind of doing, which is my wife has her kind of alone time with my daughter where they're reading the Harry Potter books. And we're buying them at that pre-owned bookstore, which is fun because they don't. We go to the place Open Book, which is a store that gets books not from the publishers that buys them. They're not pre-owned, but that buys them from stores that don't want them anymore or like whatever.
Okay.
They're not used books, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like they're
sure.
Not, anyway, so you can get them from there. So you can get books. So you're not buying straight from the publisher. So you're not like getting more books made and stuff like that. Anyway, so we love to go there.
Careful, Kevin.
Huh?
It's going to be 10 minutes from now. We're going to be lost somewhere else.
I'm just explaining to people how we get the Harry Potter books. Certain somebody didn't get a check for that. Anyway, so while they were reading the books, my son was like right as you were like on your way over here, or you were finishing up dinner, about to leave, and I was like, my son is really into puzzles lately, which is a dream. It is so fun doing puzzles with him. He has a blast. We have this puzzle. I don't know how many pieces it is. I want to say it's probably 100 piece puzzle. Of course, it's dinosaurs. We're not idiots. It's dinosaurs with a volcano in the background. He loves floors, lava, and dinosaurs. It's perfect. And so we're making it, and he's
does
just
it every day, I'm sure.
Yes, multiple times a day. We do this puzzle multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So we were doing
look at the concept of a straight edge. We're looking for straight edges here.
It's funny. He doesn't understand the edges and borders, but he's pretty incredible at pieces. I feel like he's quicker than at least my daughter was at that age, where he'll just like see it and go, well, that doesn't, and turns it and clicks it in. I'm pretty impressed by the little guy.
It's funny what their brains do connect with. My daughter's the same way. 4 years. She's 4. She's probably better at recognizing that these two pieces match, or this color goes with this color way better than I'm like, see how this is a straight line? Like you can't even. How am I not explaining this correctly? Because you don't seem to get it at all.
Yeah, he sees like the shading there, and he's like, no, this is dark and that's dark. So put the dark sides.
See, this is way more of a chartreuse than that one is. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you stick to the straight edges, Dad. We're building puzzles over here.
So, obviously, listeners of this podcast don't know my son, but I've spoken of him, and he's a wild character, he says a lot of things. I
told you before, I'd buy front row tickets to his show.
Yeah, I mean, he says wild stuff all of the time. Well, we're just smashing. I mean, he smashes the pieces in the puddle, so he makes sure it's the right fit, and then just like smacking a buzzer, like every time. It's really funny. So he's doing that, and then at one point, I'm assuming, it's funny, like you can't figure out, especially my son. Yeah. Never mind any 3, almost 4-year-old, where their brain is at any given time, why they're thinking about things.
Sure.
But he just out of nowhere just goes, Dad, are you going to live 6,400 years? And then just keeps going back to the puzzle. Like didn't stay for the answer. Just made a passing comment that was in a question form. So I'm just putting pieces on, and I was like, I don't think so, bud. Nobody lives that long, unfortunately. I wish it could. And then we just keep putting the puzzles on, and he just goes, nobody does? And I was like, no, nobody does.
Uh-oh.
And he just goes, so we're going to die? And I was like, yeah, a long time from now, bud. Like a long time from now. And then putting pieces in, and then nothing for a while.
Also, the other part of your brain's going like, how is this happening right now?
Yeah. The other part of my brain that like the inside out that has its feet on the desk is going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Are you sure it's not sooner or later? Because you're really sweating, Dad.
Yeah. So then my son, who like he's an emotional little guy, but he's not like you've mentioned your son, heart on his sleeve, and I would say my daughter is closer to that than my son. I mean, my son has a lot of emotions because he's 3. And they're just kind of
just shooting out all over the place.
Rolodex,
Exactly.
And so anyway, so he just, we just made those passing comments, and we went back to the puzzle. What I felt like was for a little while, and then it probably wasn't before I just hear, "But Dad," and I look up, and the little wells are full, just like the glassiest eyes. And then he just goes, "But I don't want us to die." And I was like, "Oh, hey, man." But now I'm going
downhill is where you're going.
I'm not going downhill. I'm already at the bottom. I didn't realize we had hit the bottom.
You're right.
But I look at him.
You were still looking for straights
and now
and corners.
I like to think I'm a pretty clever guy.
You are.
I
Yeah,
can
you're
be off the cuff. I can be pretty quick.
Yeah.
But now I'm also like, I'm panicking and going through like everything the parenting advice and like what they say and what you shouldn't and all the and I'm like, well, I already said we die. I'm not going to say we're not going to die. Now I don't really know what to do here.
Because that's also all he heard.
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, that's what he's going to hang on to.
Exactly.
In that moment.
But he gave me an out, and I took it right away, which was I was like, "Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry." Again, like it's not for a really long time. If that, it's like I'm not gonna say maybe. Like I don't want that either. But he gave me an out. He goes, because he's 3, and again, I don't know that he's only going to remember this conversation forever if it goes poorly.
Yeah.
So far, headed in that direction.
Right. You're looking for anybody to throw you anything that floats at this point.
So he says, tears in his eyes. None of them's fallen out yet, which is like, you don't want them to, but also you're like, God,
it's a magical moment. It's like a Disney moment.
It's like when your cup is just like, how does it have that much water on top and it's not spilling
Surface
yet?
tension is
Surface
absolutely
tension is wild right now. And he just goes, when we die, do we come right back? And I go, yep, we come right back. Right away. It's like a video game. Like wherever your last save was, that's like, where were you? Did you have a checkpoint or did you leave a stable?
Who knows where you're going to respawn next? I have no idea, but depends on your last save point. Speaking of which, do you see this head of this T-Rex anywhere?
That Stegosaurus is silly. But they didn't come back. No. They did as chickens.
No, but see, people do. That's why they don't exist anymore, and we still do. Do you want macaroni and cheese for dinner? Yeah. I love that he said he gave you the out. He gave you the out right away, which is, Dad, are you going to live to be 6,400 years old? You go, I hope so.
Could have been. They could have been. But nobody lives that long. Here's the thing. He's made comments like that. And we've moved on from them so quickly. It was a nice reminder he's getting older and he's considering things. But it was very funny when he was like, "Do you come back?" I was like, "Absolutely, we do."
100%.
Right away.
And so this is my third go around. Yeah. As a matter of fact. So
yeah, just like in the video games, you just go and then you brush yourself off and you've got 3 hearts and you got to find some food.
Yeah, and you don't have any more swords.
Yep. Shout out to Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Even on that lately, that's a really great story. That is the. That's how you feel so unprepared as a parent a lot of the time.
Yeah, because
so much of it's well rehearsed, and you get into the groove of things, and you can do morning routine, nightly routine. Boom, you're on it, and then something like that happens, and you're like, "Oh, this is like." It's like when your boss calls you in the room for something. And you're like, I don't think I did anything wrong. Did I do something wrong? What did I do?
Oh, I did say that.
Oh, maybe they figured out that I went to the game when I called out sick.
Yeah.
Oh, is they going to yell at me? But it's way worse.
It's way worse
because you're the boss and you don't even know why you're being called into your own office.
And I think we talked about this like in one of the last podcasts about like, well, it's always like how you talk to your kids. You know how to talk to your kids about certain things. You
know them the best.
You're
the
so
expert.
I recognize when I tell this story that I look not great. that people listening would go, why would you say, no, we all die to a 3-year-old? But it's because we've had very similar conversations, and they're just very passing and fleeting, and just I use my body language and demeanor to kind of help dictate the conversation of just like, yeah, well, it's a long time from now, but yeah, we all kicked the bucket eventually, and I don't want to talk about it because I've been suffering from anxiety since Christmas. But if you want to get into it, we come back. So, which I probably should start telling myself when I start having anxiety attacks.
Kevin just likes
you're gonna come back. You're gonna come back. You're gonna.
It's going to be over. You're going to come back. That's one of the things Kevin likes coming back from is vacations the most, which is why he likes to leave a lot of things to unpack later.
Mm-hmm. And then we're at the end of the podcast because that's the dad joke.
Yep, there it is.
That's the dad joke. But here's the thing. I will end with this. The story, I will say the writing was on the wall-ish because he was he took like a power nap when my daughter she had dance today. So I take both kids because my wife is working from home and I'm not going to leave one of the kids there.
She deserves some time alone.
Well, she has to work.
To work without any screaming.
To work. And my son is very clingy, specifically with her, but in general.
Yeah.
But he did a power nap and it didn't go well. So he was just and he doesn't nap anymore, but it was one of those naps that makes things worse. So he was kind of on edge for the rest of the night. So when we were doing the puzzle, we kind of got back to like net zero. Like he was just happy again and just goofing around, and he just kept saying, I'm crushing it. And then like, do we die? And I was like, you betcha.
You bet your ass we do, buddy. Sooner than you'd hope so.
Oh, man, do we ever.
Put the piece down. Look at me. Look at me in the eyes.
Those dinosaurs you like so much? You know that lava game? You imagine what would really... Anyway. I'm doing fine.
You're doing great, buddy.
Yeah. We'll see. He didn't bring it up again. We were together for quite a while longer. Mm-hmm. I read a book to him in bed.
To be fair, I avoided him the rest of the evening.
I laid down with him. Oh, that's right. That was just a pillow. I imagined what I would say to him.
Pillow didn't take it well.
I stayed with him the rest of the night until my wife took over because you had just arrived. But he was fine. And we'll see. When I go out there, she might be like, he's really upset about death. Cried himself to sleep, and he just kept saying 6,400.
Yeah. Here's the picture. 6,400.
It's wild.
He wrote the word eventually 6,400 times. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
Eventually. Yeah.
Shout out to our Kids Are Creepy videos on Instagram and TikTok.
Amazing. Guys, if you have some dumb mom, dumb dad, dumb parent, dumb grandparent, dumb teacher moments, let us know. We'd like to hear them. And guys can email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram. Our handle is @thedumbdads, which is our handle on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where you can watch full video episodes of this podcast. But if you're listening...
On tiny little SD cards. I don't understand.
32 gigs.
It's the 32
But if you're listening to this podcast, please rate and review it, especially on Apple Podcasts. That really helps push this podcast out to other people because it gets promoted on pages on Apple Podcasts of like, oh, these podcasts are doing pretty good. So if you guys can put in some reviews, rate it, we'd really appreciate it. And if you've done that already, thank you so much.
Goes a long way. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks to @Verdue on SoundCloud for making the music for this podcast. And thanks as always to my lovely wife, Annie, for editing this podcast.
For sure.
You have a joke?
I got one for you. Ready?
To end this.
Why was the skeleton left out of the soccer match?
Why was the skeleton left out of the soccer match?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because he couldn't be on skins?
Because he had no body to play with.
Oh.
Yeah. You were on the right track.
I guess he'd have to play on shirts.
Oh, right. It wouldn't really matter. It's like you would know whether the skeleton was on your team or not.
There's no skeleton. You're on skins. He's like, that's
the point
offensive.
is, just, if somebody's feeling left out, include them. Okay? No one likes to feel like a skeleton sitting on the bench by themselves.
Always include people so they don't have a bone to pick with you.
I love you, Kevin.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?